Located off Sunset Boulevard in the Santa Monica Mountains is the Will Rogers State Historical Park. The park, once the home and ranch of American humorist, movie star, author, and newspaper columnist Will Rogers. An American icon, Will Rogers and his family built their 186-acre ranch in the 1920s and 30s overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Upon her death in 1944, Betty Rogers donated the ranch to the state of California to be enjoyed as a public park. A cowboy as a youth, Rogers built a 6-room cabin and barn on the ranch in a steep oak-shaded canyon. In what is now known as Pacific Palisades, Rogers created a ranch where he and his family could enjoy a quiet retreat and have room for their horses and the lifestyle he treasured. Will Rogers expanded the cabin with additions, creating a sprawling home with 31 rooms, 11 baths, and 7 fireplaces. He landscaped the grounds, creating rolling lawns, pastures, riding areas, and a polo field where he often played. The Rogers Ranch was listed on the National Registry of Historic Places in 1971. Rogers' fame as a humorist made him one of the most well-known celebrities in the country.
Welcome the governors. I want to welcome them too, because that's one thing we do in California is welcome. We'll welcome anything that'll come here.
Rogers' friends and guests visited him at the ranch, including a who's who of famous personalities from the 1920s and 30s, including Walt Disney, Clark Gable, Charles Lindbergh, along with leading politicians and business executives. There was plenty of outdoor activities for guests to enjoy, including horseback riding, hiking, and especially polo. In the ranch's guest house, built in 1928, is a visitor center where exhibits provide a look at Will Rogers' incredible career as one of America's first multimedia stars. A master horseman and roping champ, soon led to performances to Wild West shows and circuses that traveled the world.
Around there and worked on the ranch a little bit and finally joined a little show called Texas Jack's Wild West Show.
Will Rogers' wit and humor led to the vaudeville circuit and the Broadway stage. His candor, wit, and advice earned him the title of the Cowboy Philosopher. His stage career led to California, where he appeared in 50 silent films and 21 talkies. As a writer, Rogers entertained millions with his syndicated newspaper column. Rogers wrote over 4,000 columns, which were syndicated all over the world.
Anybody says over the radio today is remembered tomorrow, and it's just as well. Nobody cares. In fact, whatever you say tonight, you can come back on tomorrow night and tonight in case anybody does remember.
Park rangers lead guided tours of the Rogers family home. This historic home is filled with period furniture and is filled with original personal items. The cowboy-style living room contains Western and Indian art. Portraits of Will and his wife Betty were painted by the famed artist Howard Chandler Christy. The main house has been maintained as it would have been in the 1930s. The open gabled interior reflects Rogers' cowboy roots. Native American rugs and a number of paintings, prints, and sculptures are included, with works by Western artists Charles Russell, Ed Borein, and Joe DeYoung on display. The family's all-electric kitchen featured the latest in food appliances and cooking gadgets, including a modern electric stove. A separate private room is where the family gathered inside the main house to sing and play music together. The upstairs rooms contain family heirlooms, including photographs, memorabilia, and personal items. Roger's study reveals the office space, library, and sitting room where he typed his weekly newspaper columns. The grounds include stables and riding arenas, a hay barn, carpentry shop, and pastures. Several trails on the ground lead to the canyons of the Santa Monica Mountains, including the Backbone Trail that leads more than 67 miles along the ridges and canyons of the Topanga and Malibu State Parks to Point Mugu in the north. An early aviation enthusiast, Rogers traveled the world by air. It was on a flight across Alaska with legendary pilot Wiley Post that a crash took both the men's lives on August 15, 1935. The outpouring of national grief reflected the loss of one of America's unique voices.
A great American goes to his last rest. For the funeral of Will Rogers, thousands who knew him through the screen or radio or press come to Burbank, California for the burial.
The memory of Will Rogers lives on in books, movies, postage stamps, and the many parks and buildings that bear his name, including the state park named in his honor here in Los Angeles. If you are a fan of Hollywood history or would simply like to visit a unique and lovely place, take a tour at the Real Rogers State Historic Park. Admission is free.